So hi there, I'm Liam Millinchip. I'm a singer, songwriter, guitarist, and one half of the duo Barlow Cree. I'm from Wales, and I've been playing guitar for nearly 40 years.
So you must be pretty good at it.
Well, I suppose, yeah. I'd have to say yes, some might say no. No excuses, anyway.
How long have you been performing with Barlow Cree?
Since about 2011, released our first album then, sort of spurred us on to start performing live. But before then, I'd spent years and years in different bands in Newport, where I grew up, just playing other people's songs. I was always into folk, it was always there in the background, but of course, being younger, it wasn't cool. Being in rock bands was the cool thing to do, so we did loads of covers, rock and roll and stuff like that in Newport. But it was always there, the acoustic guitar was always sat there, upset in the corner.
How did you get started with Barlow Cree?
We first knew each other because our kids were in the same school, so we met in the schoolyard while waiting to pick the kids up. And then I knew Johnny was from Yorkshire, you can't miss his accent. Our name itself is a combination of Yorkshire and South Wales, so when you were playing tag or tig as a kid, in South Wales, your place of immunity, your safe place would be called Cree, and you cross your fingers and you'd be immune. And Johnny in Bradford used to say Barlow, and they would do this with their arms, and that would mean safety. So we've combined our two names for the safe place in Barlow Cree. So people were worried that it might involve Gary Barlow, but it doesn't at all. Fortunately.
How's your work changed with different musical influences and life experiences?
Certainly when we were living in Cardiff, when we recorded our first album, we were sort of influenced by folk legends and tales about our local area. And then, growing up in Newport in South Wales, under the lights of the steelworks where everybody worked and where I was supposed to go and work, which I didn't in the end, helped us write a song on the new album called Man of Steel, which is a song about a conversation between myself and my dad. The night before, I was taking up an apprenticeship in Llanwern Steelworks, and he told me not to go and not to do it because he'd worked there for 30 years and he didn't want me to go there. So I suppose more life experience living in Wales rather than Welsh fans.
How do you find that different audiences relate to your music?
You find that, especially with sort of common legends, everyone's got their own sort of variation. We sing a song about a devil that came from London to Cardiff to dam the River Taff to drown everyone in Wales. When we played up in Shropshire, up in the Midlands, they've got a story similar to that of a tump or a mound of earth in their village. So everyone seems to say, oh yeah, we've got one of those, we've got that. And of course, a song about working in a steelworks and working double shifts and nights and the tough work that people did in those days in the steelworks. It resonates with everyone really. That's right across the UK. So I think that folk songs tell real stories about real life.
Any exceptions or difficulties?
Especially with the song with the devil in the cobbler, because the inference is that the devil's English, so it really works well in Wales. In fact, people cheer. But when we play it in England, Johnny has to say, I get him to say it because he's English, and it doesn't go down very well. So if we play up north, we have to say the devil's from London. But it's tongue-in-cheek, isn't it? We never get in sort of any sort of ethical trouble because of it. At least not yet, anyway.
What does music mean to you?
As a person, it's food and drink. It's everything. It's in my bones, in my marrow. I think I couldn't survive without it. Probably the most assertive I've ever been in my life was to knock my next door neighbour's door and ask him if I could have one of his guitars, and he said yeah. That was it. I just taught myself. I had lessons in school, but I didn't like it because I wasn't learning songs that I wanted to know, like Paul Simon and Fleetwood Mac. And my parents bought me a Beatles complete book. I always remember the book because it had really inappropriate sort of saucy pictures in the front, which they cut out because I was only about 8 or 9. But we didn't listen to the Beatles, so I learned all the Beatles songs without ever hearing the originals, which I suppose now kind of feeds into the fact that I can, write tunes to songs that I've never heard, which is odd.
That girl, she was the passion of his life, but hunting was her first love o'er the hills. To ride behind the hounds a great thrill.
I see that you have one of our fusion bags. Any thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, they're fantastic. I was really surprised. It was so solid. I thought there was a guitar in it when it came out the box. They're brilliant. I can't wait to go and gig next month and take my guitar. I'll be showing everyone. Happy St. David's Day, if that's your thing.
He was down by Swansea Barracks one May morning as I strayed, a viewing of the soldier lads I spied a come.